So here we are with My Little Pony Season 6, 28 pranks later. As I go into this episode based on the synopsis, I'd like to recall the episodes Driffin the Brush Off, Luna Eclipsed, Stairmaster, and Testing 1, 2, 3. All of the episodes that have involved Rainbow Dash or some other pony pulling pranks of some nature. We once again spotlight Rainbow Dash's and also Pinkie Pie's love for pranks in an episode where Rainbow Dash starts off pranking Fluttershy, who is terrified almost beyond the ability to speak, and lands herself in a very peeved Fluttershy mood after Rainbow Dash scares her half to death. This brings Rainbow Dash's pranking habits to the attention of the Council of Friendship before Princess Twilight, and the rest of the ponies sort of go back and forth on whether or not Rainbow Dash should be pranking ponies, with some of the points being made. Like, not every pony finds pranks funny, and you should only prank ponies who can handle that sense of humor. And other points being brought up, not that it was wrong to prank Fluttershy, but that it was lazy and unimaginative to prank Fluttershy. With Rainbow Dash ignoring the good advice of you shouldn't prank those who can't handle a prank, she instead focuses on the sort of challenge to her ego that her pranks have been lazy and lacked effort. She goes off trying to prank not just her friends, but a whole bunch of other ponies throughout Ponyville. And some of the pranks are kind of clever, but some of them do sort of cross the line into something that's kind of not funny. And it gets a whole bunch of the ponies, not just the main six, trying to ask that Rainbow Dash should stop doing pranks. They lay the whole thing on Pinkie Pie to stop the pranking from going on, and Pinkie Pie tries to confront Rainbow Dash, but she has just about as hard a time stopping a prankster as she does trying to stop Vinyl Scratch from having a huge dance party on the top of Rarity's boutique. Rainbow Dash tells Pinkie Pie that she has this brilliant idea to prank the entire town at once by using cookies that have a pranked rainbow filling that will put rainbow filling all over their mouths so that they know that they were all pranked. And this is going to get every pony in town all at once. With Pinkie Pie unable to convince Rainbow Dash not to pull this epic prank, she ends up having to convince the entire town into pranking Rainbow Dash in a sort of revenge prank. And so the entire town decides to pretend to be zombies, and they scare Rainbow Dash really good. In a move for an episode that's actually kind of clever considering its genre. So here's some of my observations on this episode. This kind of plot's been done before. I've seen a lot of cartoons that have done both the prankster takes pranks too far and prank victims try to get revenge plot, as well as episodes that have done either zombie invasions or fake zombie invasions. And I've seen both of these plots before, but this is the first time, as far as I can recall, that I've seen the two combined. Where last week's episode was an race car plot that we've seen 100 times before in 100 different cartoons and brought nothing new. This is a plot that we've seen before, but it brought something new because it combined two old plots into one story that was interesting and had a fun twist. I saw things coming because I saw the synopsis and I knew when the print had started. But a lot of other blind reviewers who don't watch the synopsises came into this episode not knowing what would happen and were just as pranked as Rainbow Dash was once things started going down. It took them quite a bit longer to make the connection. So the plot works as an unpredictable, well-told story, whereas last week pretty much everybody was calling every event that was going to happen next in the story, and we were getting tired of seeing storyline threads repeated over and over and over again without bringing anything new. This does the same old, but it has enough new and interesting twists to keep our attention and move the story along at a much better pace. Pinkie Pie especially was well done in this episode. Everything seemed to be in character for her, and she seemed to be the perfect pony to not only take Rainbow Dash's side, but to also stand up to her and teach her a lesson. It was a nice balance to see that some ponies liked pranks, some ponies don't like pranks, and some of the ponies liked pranks but didn't like the presentation of these particular pranks. With ponies like Fluttershy and Twilight being kind of fed up and turned off by pranks, Pinkie Pie being on Rainbow Dash's side for the most part, and Rarity and Applejack simply calling the pranks lazy, not calling them inappropriate, which I thought was an interesting way to tackle the issue from 3 different perspectives. This is also the first time that we've had a fart joke on the series. Up until now, the whoopee cushion has always been a bicycle horn or a car horn. This is the first time it's been an actual whoopee cushion. And I do sort of agree with Applejack on this one that, yeah, whoopee cushions are lazy, as opposed to someone like Pinkie Pie, who thinks that they're a classic. I was very fascinated by the fact that the CMC are putting on Girl Scout uniforms, basically. We've seen Scouts before on My Little Pony, and in fact we've seen a lot of cartoons that have done the Girl Scout thing, but if the CMC are gonna be Philly Scouts or whatever in upcoming episodes, this could be a great way to set up a new thing for them. Being Girl Scouts on the series could be the perfect replacement for the Cutie Mark Crusaders. The Cutie Mark Crusaders used to do crazy things to try and get their cutie marks. Now that they have them, they can start doing crazy things to try and get their merit badges, and instead of worrying about getting their cutie marks, they can worry about moving up in rank within their individual troop. If this turns out to be something that only happened on the series because we wanted characters that the audience was familiar with to sell cookies to all of the ponies in Ponyville so that Rainbow's prank could actually work, and the idea never comes back for the rest of the entire series, then this would go on my list of disappointing things that were set up that were never revisited. I'm starting to get that same kind of you set this up but you never had a payoff feeling from things like Trixie's Reform, the Baby Flurry Heart, and the inclusion of Starlight Glimmer as a supposed main character who still hasn't shown up in nearly enough episodes, despite the fact that she lives in the castle and should be included in some of these. We involve the entire main 6 plots. You gotta remember that these characters you care so much about have been brought back, and they need more episodes to develop their personalities if we're going to care about them. Otherwise, why bother bringing Starlight onto the series? Why bother reforming Trixie? Why bother introducing a baby if you never use them? The Cookie Zombie thing, while reminding me a lot of Cookie Monster, could also remind a lot of people of what people go through during drug withdrawal. You know, it could be a nice metaphor for addiction and the like. And it also works out great as a G-rated zombie. On a show for kids like My Little Pony, you can't do the zombies as dark and violent and gruesome as you would on a show like Gravity Falls. So it was a nice little twist figuring out how to do zombies without having the zombies covered in blood and eating brains and flesh and stuff. I personally never found pranks that funny. I find that the props that are sold in guide stores for playing pranks usually look so obviously fake that you can spot the prank from a mile away. And the setups for pranks that you see on prank shows, the setups for those are usually so lame, so unrealistic, and so unbelievable that I don't know how anybody ever falls for pranks anymore. I honestly haven't seen a truly clever hidden camera prank TV series since the days of Candid Camera and Bloopers and Practical Jokes. After that era, the whole art of hidden camera pranking turned into ridiculous and unbelievable setups that were completely over the top and fully implausible. This would be a great episode to have aired around April Fool's Day, or to put on a DVD with other similar episodes like Griffin the Brush Off, and to sell as an April 1st DVD collection. The atmosphere for this was very creepy. If you recolored the rainbow cookie filling to be some kind of red cookie filling so it looked more like blood, this could be a genuinely creepy atmosphere. The lighting, the music, the camera angles, the timing, the way characters moved, the shadows, every little detail from the point when Pinky gets sick and is like the sort of patient zero of this whole mess, all the way up to the end before Rainbow realizes she's being pranked. It's all very creepy, very moody. It really has a classic feel of a 1930s or 1940s horror film, just the way it's filmed so perfectly for this kind of creepy horror type genre. The music score for this was great and was another thing contributing to the amazing atmosphere. It definitely brought back the sound that was typical of an old black and white Universal Studios movie monster movie. I love how in the end Rainbow Dash is in the barn with her two most popular ships, Applejack and Rarity. And even the CMC, including her adopted sister, is there. It's like Rainbow Dash is spending her final moments with the ponies who are closest to her, and the ones who are closest to her are the ones who are getting turned into zombies last. And that's about all I have to say about that. Thank you for watching, and good night.